No way.
Is that
yes.
true?
I mean, oh, wow. Yep, it's confirmed 30 seconds ago.
Wow.
Yep. Sup, nerds? It's basketball. Welcome to Horse, a basketball podcast about everything except for the wins and losses. My name is Mike Schubert, and I'm joined by my trusted co-host, me posting pictures of him wearing Yankees gear on his birthday to me somehow not having the caption be made in the post. It's Adam Amwala. Adam, how's it going?
It's going well. It was jarring because you're not generally like an online troll. I don't think of you that way. And then when I saw that, I was like, this is like some weird psychological warfare going on here.
And I did it. It was when we were in
Early
Switzerland.
Baseball reference, by the way.
Oh, yeah. We were in Switzerland. We were at the Wooden Cow Museum, as you do.
Sure.
And I had Wi-Fi because they had free Wi-Fi at the Cow Museum. And I was like, great, I can make this post. I wrote up this like really sweet caption. It's this whole thing about how like the only time I can post these photos that have been on my phone for a while is like some sort of good occasion to like offset,
Sure.
blah, blah, blah. I wrote this whole sweet thing. And then maybe it's because the Wi-Fi was bad or maybe Instagram did something and the caption didn't do it. Then I didn't have internet because we like left the Cow Museum. And then like hours later, we come back to the place we're staying and I get a message from you that's like, damn, that was diabolical from you. And I was like, what? Like 4 hours had passed. Anyway, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Let's talk about basketball. The Knicks
Yeah,
lost. Who cares? Let's talk about the WNBA. The whole episode.
Yeah. Well, as it turns out, in what you will hear later in this episode when we do our finals preview, we actually got some breaking news, which we will certainly be discussing in Full Court Press. And somehow the horse curse may have been broken because we are recording this now later than we usually would. Had we recorded at a normal time, we would have missed this news. And yet somehow perhaps there's a paradigm shift happening here. But Tom Thibodeau has been canned. He has been fired.
Bye-bye.
He has been sacked, whichever version of that you want to use. He gone. And he may, his voice will probably not come back, but either way, he is no longer the head coach of the New York Knickerbockers. We'll talk about that further, but you know what? Before we do that, we should center ourselves.
Correct.
In a little place called the Teal Memorial Locker Room.
Yes, they have throat lozenges. So if you are like Tom Thibodeau and you've lost your voice, you can have a Ricola or whatever to kind of soothe that throat.
Yes, that's important.
You know who else we've got, though, that has soothing throats?
You know what? That's one of the more interesting ways you've brought up our patrons, but our patrons, and we actually have a new patron to give a shout out to.
Yeah, shout out to our new patron, Atticus. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate your support, and we also very much appreciate the support of all of our patrons, especially our producer-level patrons, Polly Burge, Salvatore Testa. Sorry, I'm getting so many text messages about the Thibs things. It's happened, somebody... one of my friends, it's funny, we're talking about like not super basketball people in the interview that you hear later. This guy's like not super basketball just texted me, the Knicks just fired Thibs. Yeah, dude, I know. I'm Mike Schubert. I'm on the case.
Yeah, I get the same thing sometimes where people like a day or two later text me something about the Cubs where I'm like, do you think I didn't know about this the second it happened?
Right. I have no problem texting and talking to these types of people, but like, talk to me in past tense. Like, I already know this stuff. Come on.
Yeah.
Act like whatever you're about to tell me I already know, because I do. I check Reddit/r/NBA roughly once an hour. Anyway, continuing on. Salvatore Testa, Siobhan Ellsbury, Don't Go Chasing Taco Falls, Bang, Bang, Roast Beef Debris, Denver, Steam Nuggets, Anna Reed, Steph Curry for par 3.
Yeah, I assume he's golfing.
Chase Underulo, Naked Rachel, Sidney Crosby is a vampire, Chelsea's cousin, Ginger Spurs boy, Balls to the Balls, Mats Furley, and Utah Jash. You know who else is here? And actually, soothing throats. Wait a second. This actually works.
It is. It all came full circle. Shaker and Spoon, our sponsor.
Shaker and Spoon. Oh, the Thibs text messages continue to roll in. Oh, baby, this is a fun place to record. I have so many messages. Shaker and Spoon. If you need to celebrate something or take your mind off of a recent loss, such as your favorite basketball team losing in the playoffs, you can go to shakerandspoon.com/horse and you can get a box of stuff to help you make fancy cocktails. You get $20 off if you go to shakerandspoon.com/horse. They send you all the stuff to make 4 servings of 3 different drinks that all use the same liquor. You just provide the liquor. They have everything else, and you can make a bunch of fancy drinks and keep the recipe cards and keep that knowledge so you can make those drinks forever. And that's shakerandspoon.com/horse. Now, unless you're listening on Patreon where you don't get inserted ads, we're going to take a break for some inserted ads. And once those are complete, we'll get back into this episode for us. Unless you're listening on Patreon, we're just going to get right into it now. Adam, what do you got going on?
So I have just completed a little bit of a West Coast run. I'm currently in Las Vegas as we are recording this. So if you do hear this when it comes out, I will still be in Las Vegas. So you can come see me at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club. I'll be here all week through Sunday the 8th. That will be the last show before I head home. So come out to those if you are around. Next up, I'll be in Chicago the weekend of July 17th through 19th. I'll be in Jamestown, New York for the Lucille Ball Comedy Festival, August 8th and 9th. I will be in Wethersfield, Connecticut, September 12th and 13th. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, September 20th. Columbus, Ohio, September 26th. Denver, Colorado, January 9th. And 10th of next year. So I've already got some stuff cooking for next year and more dates to be added, I'm sure. But what about you? What do you have going on?
Oh, I've got the same things that I had mentioned previously. Shout out to everyone who came to the Switzerland shows, but we've got St. Louis and Kansas City in August, and then I'll be at Enchanticon in between those shows. That's also in St. Louis. I'll be in Providence September 13th. I'll be in Pittsburgh September 28th. I'm looking to try and stream that Pittsburgh show so that if you don't live in the area, you can also watch it. And then that's everything for now, but I'm going to try. Oh, no, there's also on the horizon. I should be doing something. It's not confirmed yet, but it's basically going to be, I think, locked in. It would be on Sunday, June 29th, and matinee show in Salt Lake City, Utah. Going to be doing a TNO show there. So things are not like I'm still going back and forth. By the time you're listening to this, tickets might be up, and I'm not sure, but that'll be coming up soon. We're recording this on June 3rd, so it is approaching, but I'm going to Utah for a family trip, so adding a show while we're there.
Sick.
So with that all complete, we can get into Full Court Press, get it like the news unless we have an MBQ&A.
We do, actually, and I feel like this is a good one because this is going to be a fairly NBA-heavy episode, and we've got a WNBA-related Q&A from our fan and patron, I believe, Rachel. The question is, I'm a new fan of the WNBA and just went to my first game last night, the Mystics Fever game in Baltimore. It was a lot of fun. But it was a lot of fun, but I was just wondering one thing. Why is the Mystics mascot a panda? Thanks, Rachel. P.S. What do you think the Valkyrie's mascot should be if they get one? So I don't have an answer as to why the Mystics mascot is a panda. Then again, I don't know why the Liberty mascot is an elephant. Elephants don't have anything to do with New York or the Statue of Liberty, but Ellie is the best mascot in the league. So I don't necessarily have an answer for that.
The internet has an answer because I Googled it. I had no idea they had a panda mascot. Apparently Washington, D.C., where the Mystics play, just really likes pandas. They have pandas in their national zoo in Washington, D.C. The city has a strong affinity for these pandas, and thus the panda became a symbol of the city, and the Mystics made that their mascot. So
very cool.
They got a panda.
And we, unless something has changed and I don't know about it, I don't think the Valkyries have announced that they have a mascot.
Not
so what should
yet.
it be? Now, do we want to do something that's like along with the theme or just something completely random?
I feel like they should go completely random because I feel like it'll be hard to make like if you do, because a Valkyrie is like a warrior of sorts, so that's hard to be cute. And then if you try to go like the Pegasus route, because it's like traditionally the Valkyries, or at least from what I know, they like ride on winged horses. You already have the Dallas Wings in the league whose logo is a Pegasus, so that would feel weird if you have a mascot that looks like it should be the other team's mascot.
Sure.
So I feel like you go different with it. They should pick something regional. So if you're going to go like Bay Area, it should be a cloud of fog with like a big smile on it. And then you can make it like Val or something. They can be like Valerie the cloud.
I was thinking maybe like a bay monster, like a bay creature.
Okay. Like, I don't know if there is something urban legendy. I'm not familiar with one from my time there, but maybe there's some sort of urban legend of a bay creature, some sort of sea creature, black lagoon sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't know that there is, but it's whatever came to mind. Also, I don't know that much about. Oh, wait, of course. Don't they have, no, am I thinking of Seattle? Isn't there something that like seals or something that like come up by the water in San Francisco?
That's San Francisco. Seals, that would actually be a really good one
fun.
for a local nod. That would be fun. And it would be perfect for the San Francisco team because it's like a stupid tourist trap. And for them to move the Chase Center into Tourist Town out of Oakland, it would be very fitting for the San Francisco ownership to be like, this is what the people like. But no, a seal would be cute. It would be fun. Right. That'd be good. Yeah, give us Valerie the seal.
Yeah. I like. Oh, yeah, perfect. I like it.
Right.
Valerie, Valkyrie.
Valerie, the Valkyrie seal. Come on.
Yeah.
It's
That's
there.
pretty good.
Pay us. Pay
us money. And now, with that, let's get into full court press. Get it? Like the news?
I do get it. I get it a lot. All right.
And you are getting news as we speak, literally.
Oh my God. I've so many text messages from my friends. Let's see. A number of people is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 people. This news broke.
You're going to be into double
7 minutes.
You're going to have more people texting you about Thibs than I have tabs open by the end of this episode.
Here's the thing. More people text me about Thibs than condolences for the Knicks losing.
I actually, if I may make the counterpoint, I am much more inclined to text you when something good has happened for the Knicks. And as a sports fan who knows how much it sucks, I don't even think I texted you immediately. Like sometimes I'm like, he's already bummed. I don't want him to also have to respond to 40 texts. So I do think maybe some of it is people understanding like, hey, he's probably a little upset. So I'm going to give it some time.
Yeah. So let's get into that real quick. The Knicks have fired Tom Thibodeau. So we lost to the Pacers. It sucked. I had to watch the games at weird hours when I was in Switzerland. I was doing a lot of like watching condensed games the next morning, or if our baby woke us up in the middle of the night, then I would watch the game. I, of course, got up from her crying in just enough time to see the Knicks collapse. Like I tuned in with like a minute left in the fourth quarter in that game where we were up and we should have won. And then there was the Halliburton shot, the missed goaltending call, the missed free throws. Like, ugh. Yeah. So that wasn't fun. Still a fun series. I was able to watch some of the games when I got back to New York. I had some friends come over and that was really cool and very fun. So I appreciate those friends coming through. My buddy Johnny, my buddy Sal, that was very fun. But the overall result, not what you want, but as silver linings-y as I always tried to be, I did probably just save myself thousands of dollars. So that's good, because I don't think you're getting into the building for under $2,000 for the finals.
It probably would have been cheaper to fly to Oklahoma City to see the Knicks play there.
Probably. So I at least get that. And then also we had a family trip planned, or we still have one planned, where we are set to leave on like what would be Game 7, or I think like we leave on the 21st, and if it went to 7 would have been on the 22nd. So like that could have made some like real hiccups and stuff, and I would have felt strange. So like there is some good to come of it. But yeah, so we lost, sucks. But we did just fire Tom Thibodeau, which also sucks because he kind of brought us into this new era of the Knicks being good and a contender, and the players loved him, and I think he was good for the culture and stuff. But I do think this is the right move, because there's certain coaches who are like culture guys. There's certain coaches who are great regular season coaches, and then you need a different coach to take you over the edge. We've seen this with Mark Jackson coaching the Warriors, and then they bring in Steve Kerr, and then they win the title. And then it was Doug Collins.
And then
the Bulls, and then Phil Jackson comes in. And I feel like we need someone else, because I think a big thing that happened in the playoffs was that we didn't trust our bench, and Tom Thibodeau never plays anyone from the bench except for like 1 or 2 guys.
Right.
And look at both teams in the finals. They have these really deep rosters with a lot of dudes, and we just kept like running out of energy at the end of games. That's how the Pacers beat all these teams, is like all their guys are fresh. Pascal Siakam plays the most minutes, and it's like 36, which is like not that much, whereas all the Knicks players are like into the 40s. So,
and unfortunately it felt like Thibs waited too long to learn that you're allowed to play other people besides 6 or 7.
He only did it when we were like on the brink of defeat, and then it was like, oh wait, this works. It's like, that's what the regular season is for. So I don't know who we replace him with. There's rumblings, and by rumblings it's just like prolific coaches have been fired. So like, do you bring in Michael Malone, who was coaching the Nuggets? I don't know. He gets like weirdly grumpy. I don't think he would do well with the New York media. So I don't know how that's going to go. There was also like weird.
Phil Jackson comes out of retirement.
I would stop watching the Knicks. Like, that's a huge statement because I watched Ramon's sessions.
Okay, fine. Isaiah Thomas will coach the Knicks.
Somehow worse. But I don't know who we replace him with. My sneaky pick, Steal J. Wright from Villanova. Let's go all in on Villanova.
Okay.
Let's just be the Villanova team.
You know what? That's actually that would be awesome. I don't think he would leave, and I don't think it'll happen, but
if he was ever going to, this is the situation.
You're not wrong.
I don't know. I don't know who we do. I don't know who we steal. I don't think they make this move unless they have someone in mind. I also don't think they make this move this quickly after the season unless they maybe have some people in mind. So I think it's the right move. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. I love Thibs. I think he's great. I just think we needed to change it up. And I would rather them, even if we like don't do as well next year as we did this year, the worst situation would have been like last year we have a similar kind of thing and then we bring in a new guy and then it's like so much better. But then now the Celtics are back because Jason Tatum's going to be out all next year. I feel like next year we like have to try to capitalize. Yeah. Like next year is very important because the Celtics are like the team in the East. And we beat them, which rules. Like, at the end of the day, for this season, we beat the Celtics. Hang the banner. Yeah. It's awesome. I love it. I hate Boston sports, so it's just, like, extra good. We were not supposed to beat them. We beat them. It was super cool. I'm going to ride high. You can't take that away from me. Fucking awesome.
I like it.
We got to capitalize next year with them out of contention. And that's why I think this is a good move.
Absolutely. So obviously the Knicks fall to the Pacers in 6 games. The Thunder dispatch the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5 games. The weird outlier being that the one game they lost by over 40 points, which is just very bizarre. But they really dominated that series. So we now have a Thunder Pacers finals. You know, the media will tell you that it's a nightmare finals for ratings and for the NBA. It might be true for ratings because for the casual basketball fan, maybe they don't care that much about this matchup. But I'm personally excited about it. I'm sure for you, it's more of a mixed emotion because you're watching. I always feel like I would rather the team that just beat me wins the whole thing because then it feels like, well, at least we lost to the best team.
I've always been like that, but in this case, I think the Thunder are going to destroy them. Like, I think they'll beat them in 5 games handedly. And
we'll see.
As I will say in the episode, I have reasons to hate both of these teams. The Pacers beat the Knicks, and the Thunder were stolen from Seattle, a city that's very near and dear to my heart where I lived for a couple of years.
But I would say before we get to our NBA Finals preview, where we had a couple guests, which is the meat of the episode, quick WNBA check-in. There are still, as of this recording, 2 undefeated teams. They are the New York Liberty and the Minnesota Lynx, both of whom are 7-0. It's been an interesting start. There's a couple teams that are like really bad, like the Wings are 1-6, the Sun are 1-6. But, pretty fun start to the season. Of course, there's been the usual Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, blah, 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 blah. Other than that narrative, which is kind of always there, is there anything that sticks out to you from the first couple weeks of the WNBA season?
Yeah, I think like overall season narrative, this feels like the seasons in the past where like there's 2 like clear contenders. In the past, it was like, the Aces, it's going to be like Aces Liberty. And then last year, I think the Lynx were like more of a surprise. But like this season, we were 7 games in. It's like, cool. So it's going to be a rematch of Lynx Liberty in the finals because the Liberty like are already good. And then they also have Natasha Cloud, who I think is fantastic. She's so fun on the court and off the court. I'm very frustrated that she's on the Liberty. I would have loved if she was on the Storm. So,
well, especially with a name like Cloud, it was like a match made.
Oh my God. Can you imagine the marketing? Oh. But yeah, like it's makes things like a little less fun when you like kind of know who's going to be in the finals, but it will make the playoffs interesting if anyone can pull off the upset. But it is kind of already looking like, these 2 teams are just like miles ahead of every other team. Right. But there is other like drama going on with the league. The Connecticut Sun have mentioned that they are like open to selling. The owners are open to selling the team and open to relocating the team. Yeah. So it'll be an interesting thing of like, do they sell to a group that brings them to Boston because it's close and like, yeah, sure, not that big of a deal? Or do they sell them to a city that's like kind of close, but not usually as associated with Connecticut, Philadelphia, who does not have a WNBA team? Or do they sell them to one of these cities that used to have a team and is trying to get a team back, like the Detroit Shock or the Houston Comets? And I think it will be very interesting because more and more people are like trying to get in on the league. We've got the Toronto team coming up. We've got the Portland team coming up.
I feel like Boston is, maybe a good place for a team. Maybe Philly, to your point, like a place where there was a team and now no longer is. Houston feels like the easy choice because of the pedigree of that team back in the day. But
yeah. The greatest sports franchise in Texas. The Spurs are really good. Greatest sports franchise in Houston for sure.
Sure.
But that's very interesting. And then I feel like there was another drama piece that I was going to bring up, like something just from it's a thing. It's similar to Caitlin Clark, but it is a different Caitlin Clark drama. It is that what they did this year for certain Caitlin Clark games when they're playing teams, if that team doesn't play in like a big arena, they're putting them in a bigger one. So like, I think when they're playing the Dallas Wings, it's going to be where the Mavs play. I don't know if the Wings play where the Mavs play normally.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, and there's a couple of things like that. Like this Fever game being in Baltimore might have also been like for a similar reason. And Caitlin Clark just got injured and she's out for like 4 weeks with a hamstring strain or a quad strain, something in her leg.
Right.
And there was all these rumblings and reports where it was like, oh, are they going to like refund people their tickets and stuff? And Sue Bird on her podcast with Megan Rapinoe, A Touch More, made a very good point of like, yeah, this sucks, but like this would never be a conversation with men's sports. Like I've bought tickets when I lived in not New York. I would buy tickets for the Knicks coming to town when they played the Rockets for like the one time or when they played the Blazers for the one time and I go down from Seattle, something like that. And like there was 2 separate times they did that. And Kristaps Porzingis, the only good player on the Knicks at the time, was hurt. And it sucked, but like you can't get your refund. Like that's just what happens with sports sometimes. So the narrative
No, I agree. The only thing I would push back on is like Kristaps Porzingis is not the draw that Caitlin Clark was. Like, I bought tickets. My dad bought us tickets when to see the Wizards play the Nets when Jordan was on the Wizards and he ended up being hurt. And of course, we didn't get a refund. But like, our feeling was, man, we kind of got screwed here, which is just like how it goes because people get hurt.
Totally.
And that's why you waited until day of to buy your LeBron Knicks tickets.
Exactly. Like that's a thing. For me, as I've gotten older, I realize more and more, I do not gamble, but my way of gambling, buying tickets to a sporting game is gambling. Just because you are hoping your team wins, because you could do what I did and spend hundreds of dollars to go to a Knicks playoff game and then they lose. And it's like, you know what would have been cooler if I spent those hundreds of dollars on? Upgrading my next flight from economy to first class. Like nothing bad can happen. Going to a Broadway show, like staying in a fancier hotel when you're traveling. Like there's all these things you can ball out on that is no risk available. Whereas like if you buy courtside seats to a game and then, or just, any sort of ticket, like you could be in a situation where you spent time and money and you leave more upset than you were before you went.
And poorer.
Yeah, it's tough. So it's a thing where it's like, I understand the emotion, but like, you got to just like treat this like every other sport where the thing is like, yeah, this sucks, but like, what can you do? It's just wild that like people were entertaining the question of like refunds. Like that is not a thing. It just sucks. It just sucks.
I mean, it is valid to say like, do they pivot and go back to the smaller capacity place? But I think
you can't. You sold the tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
You sold the tickets. You physically. And you know what? The Fever still have so many fun players. Like the Fever now are good enough where like go look and watch Aaliyah Boston. Like go watch the other players on the Fever. They brought in a bunch of people in the offseason. Like they're still a fun team. It's not like if this was a Fever last year, we're like, yeah, maybe not. Like there's not as much of a roster, but like the Fever are legitimate contenders this year. Right. So go watch.
Yeah, totally.
All right. With that complete, that wraps up Full Court Press Get It Like the News, and we will get into our interview that we've already talked about. It's the classic horse tradition where we bring in a fan from each team. Adam had 2 lovely comic friends come through to discuss their sports fandom, and it was fun. It was heated in a joking way.
It was a lot of fun. Yes, it'll be a good listen for you all, and you'll also get to hear Mike react in real time to the news that Tom Thibodeau has been fired. All right, folks, it is that time of the year again. It is time for the finals preview episode, and as always, we have brought on representatives from each one of the teams. Things were already contentious before we started recording, so there's no telling how this might go. But to represent the Pacers side of things, I would say, and this is no small statement because I know a lot of Pacers fans, I think the biggest Pacers fan I know, Tim McLaughlin, is here. Tim has a comedy special that's out on Cracked. You can check that out on YouTube. Very funny comic, very funny man, and a very good Pacers fan. And on the other side, we have a writer for Saturday Night Live, an Emmy-nominated writer for Saturday Night Live, Stephen Castillo, and a diehard Thunder fan. Gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. We're so honored to have you here. This is an audio medium, and nevertheless, you both brought it in terms of attire. Kudos to you both.
And thank you for giving me the opportunity to debate Tim McLaughlin. This is like debating Sleepy Joe. So
Oh my God.
It has already begun. They're going to be arguing about their golf games momentarily.
Adam Mamawala has watched me watch Pacers games at work.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, we use the term work lightly, but it's mostly Tim watching the Pacers or watching other people play video games or poker.
I watch people gamble. I will watch I'm either watching the Pacers or I'm watching other people gamble.
Tim watching Pacers games while I'm on stage doing a comedy routine.
Also that. Yeah. I would not expect anything less, but let's get into it. So Tim, you're from Indiana, yes?
I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. I grew up in Broder Pool. I grew up like right down the street, basically. I used to ride my bike to like Butler to watch basketball games there. So I grew up like in that area.
Gotcha. And I assume the Pacers fandom was like an immediate thing. Are your parents into the Pacers? Like, how did that come to be?
Oh, yeah. My dad's a big basketball guy. He was my basketball coach. He never really started me. You know, you'd think, your dad's the coach. He's going to give his son a little bit of runway, but I was a bad player. So I always looked up to these men who were so good.
I get it. And listen, I mean, obviously as a Bulls fan, and this is the only thing I can brag about now 30 years later, like I think that Pacers team in the 90s probably at the very least gets to the finals, if not for the fact that the Bulls keep blocking them. So like that was a hell of a team to grow up with.
Yeah, they were great. It was really fun. And little Pacers, Knicks basketball side note, the first game I went to with Scopo and tall gentleman JP McDade, the halftime, it was either a timeout or a halftime show, Adam Mamawala was out on the court doing... What'd you do?
It was like a little mini skills contest. So you had to like dribble through some cones, pass through a thing, hit a layup, and then go down and hit a three, which I did. I did hit a three at Madison Square Garden. One of the best moments of my life. And then I hit the LeBron pushing the floor down celebration.
and me and Scopo and McDade was like, what the fuck, Mamawala? I want to be doing that shit.
Yeah, for reference, JP McDade is like a 6'7", very good at basketball comedian. Also, Christian Finnegan was at that game. There were like a bunch of comedians there for some reason. There's a weirdly large number of Indiana Pacer fans in New York. I don't know how that has happened, but of the comedy community, at least. All right, so that's your origin story. Now, Stephen, are you from Oklahoma? Like, how did you get to be a Thunder fan?
Yeah, I was born in Tulsa. I lived in Mexico for a few years. I can't say that I grew up watching the Thunder because, we stole the team from this maker. Just evil greedy oil men stole the team.
I mean, Oklahoma is no stranger to things being stolen from people who had rightful ownership of it.
All right, enough.
All right. This is America. Welcome to America.
It's true.
But yeah, I didn't even know we had a basketball team until somebody told me, hey, you know that we're in the playoffs and we just beat Kobe. I was like, what the fuck?
That was the series.
Wow.
That was a fun squad.
To be clear, you didn't grow up a basketball fan.
No. Well, I loved Space Jam. Like every but I stopped following after Jordan. But then when I watched that series against Kobe and I was like, wow, look at it. And then that was the one where Ron Artest elbowed James Harden in the fucking face and shit. And I was like, this is so cool and fun. I mean, that team was so exciting. So from 2012 when we went to the finals, I'm like, I have to follow this team. Like they're gonna come back. It's been like the hardest like fucking 15 years of my fucking life.
You bought high, and now finally the investment has come back around where you have broken even.
Yeah, bro, we'll see, dude. And I mean, I just all these memories. Like I remember watching Game 6 with Clay hit all those threes. One of the worst days of my life. Durant leaving on 4th of July.
Oh man.
And like me commenting on all of his photos on Facebook, like, you fucking traitor piece of shit. And then one time, so I got like when I was at SNL, I would get like Lauren's tickets where I would be sitting like kind of close to the floor. And I took my little Mexican mom to go see one of the games, and it was the Golden State Warriors with Durant on it. And Durant happened to be throwing in out of bounds pass. And my little sweet Mexican mom just yelled, "Esssnake!" And I was like, whoa, Mom. You can't do that. I'm going to get in trouble. Yeah. So like
that's incredible.
Yeah.
So Steven, how'd you lose your job at SNL? Well, long story. Wow. I love that your mom is like invested in the
dude,
in the KD hate.
We watched every game this past season together. Like we were on the phone. So it's me, my brother, one of my best friends that's now dating my sister, which is fucked up. But we're all on Discord together. And we watch the games. It's been incredible.
I feel like I know the answer, but of that, kind of big three that was there early, KD, Harden, and Westbrook, if you could make one of those people like a lifetime Thunder player, would it be Durant? Like, is that the easy answer for you?
I have an affinity towards Westbrook.
Yeah, because he stuck around.
He stuck around. I have his jersey hung up in my bedroom. There was a part of me that felt like he was chucking those threes on the Nuggets on purpose because he told his boy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he hit. But for me, it would be cool to have Westbrook win one.
Sure.
And I don't know, man. Durant for low key need a therapist for real, bro. He
doesn't need it. He's already got Twitter.
Yeah, he's got Twitter. Yeah, exactly.
He's got Twitter and 7 different burner accounts.
Yes, exactly.
What's really funny is that all three of those guys, obviously Durant won with the Warriors, but he still feels unfulfilled. All three of those guys like could be set up with the trajectory of the way the Thunder are going. They could come back as like a ring chasing situation and maybe like be like an end of the bench veteran in Oklahoma City. I think they I think sentimentally it'd be so great if Russ did it, but I think he's the highest variable that could destroy the actual chances.
I mean,
so you gotta wait.
How old is Russ? Is he like 35?
I think he's like 36. Yeah.
And he comes off the bench and is just sprinting I love watching Russ play because he plays so hard.
Well, he's like if Rose never got injured. Like he still has that explosiveness that doesn't seem possible at that age, but he's bouncy still.
He was a triple-double machine in Oklahoma City. Yeah. He was incredible to watch.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be, for both of the teams currently, both of these teams are like very high speed, high octane teams where like they're both very young, very athletic, very high pace. Like I think that this could be, just from a stylistic basketball perspective, a very interesting series. And I feel like the Pacers have not necessarily played a fellow young team yet. I guess kind of the Cavs, but I feel like the Pacers have been kind of beating these teams with pace and space as opposed to more like slow it down teams. But now the Thunder are going to be interestingly countering that. How do you feel, Tim, about facing off against a different look?
The Thunder also run the same kind of 10-person lineup like the Pacers do, so it's going to be tough. So they're not going to wear anybody out, really. I think the hardest, there's two things. The Pacers have to play perfect if they want to beat the Thunder, because I think the Thunder is a better team than the Pacers.
Yeah.
So they have to play perfect basketball if they want to win. And I also am interested to see Jalen Brunson, as the series went on, got less and less of those ticky-tack foul calls that they had been calling during the season. So I'm interested to see if that happens with Shea during the playoffs, because they were playing pretty physical on Brunson. I mean, they did let him get away with a full headbutt on Andrew Nembhard.
Now, to be fair, Andrew Nembhard deserved it.
Okay. Sure. I mean,
it was a headbutt, but he had it coming.
I mean, if by playing hard physical basketball,
it was obnoxious. It was terrible, and they should have called a foul for it. I saw it live, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so glad the ref was positioned behind it so he couldn't see." And Nembhard's reaction of "he just hit me in the face" was great. It was very good.
So I'm interested to see how that goes, but I think the Pacers have to play perfect basketball to win.
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, I guess, Steven, what's the other side of that? Like, are you happy that you guys are playing the Pacers? How do you think you match up with them?
I don't want to turn this into an argument, but I wanted to play the Knicks.
No, please do. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted the Knicks because the Knicks seem, I don't know. The Pacers just kind of like, their whole energy is like, we're not supposed to be here, so fuck it.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure. Well, they're not, arguably.
Yeah, and that's kind of like scary. And I'm always going to go back to this game. I'm going to tell you how we could lose it.
Okay.
That what was the midseason tournament finals against Milwaukee, where we fucking just ate shit, and that scared the shit out of me. Like and there are certain games where we just completely choke under pressure. You saw that a little bit with the Nugget series. Thankfully, like they kind of overcame that. Like we shouldn't have lost game 1 at home. Yeah. We lost by like 80 points by the Timberwolves in like game 4.
That was so weird because it's the only game you lost and it was by 45 points.
It was crazy. And it's just like, I worry about them being young and like overthinking things. Also, the Thunder protect the paint, but they give up a lot of corner threes, and the Pacers have been shooting really, really well. I get nervous about open threes, those guys making a bunch of shots, because their defenses, they're going to just live and die by how well other teams shoot, you know? So if they're shooting well, then that's scary. And then other than that, like an injury could always happen.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah, and people are going to be like, oh, if OKC won, they're going to be like, OKC. But the Jarris Walker is hurt.
Yeah, he's on.
And I think this is going to be an asterisk for OKC.
The Jarris Walker. It is going to be basketball's biggest what if.
My feeling is, so for most of you are not seeing this, you're just listening to it, but to paint a picture here, Steven is wearing a Chet Holmgren jersey. Tim has a Pacers hat that looks like it's been through an actual war.
I've owned this hat for 9 years.
But the key thing is you can see the ribbing, like the fraying on the brim of the hat.
Authentic.
And you can see,
it's not like
you can also see that
Fitch.
Steven's collar is not like 100% perfectly pressed on the jersey. Like you both have worn your items, and I respect it so much.
I work out in this.
Hell yeah.
I should mention that Steven is incredibly jacked and he's flexing as I say this. But
Right.
What I was getting to is Tim also came with a background. Now, what's notable about the background is that it's Pascal Siakam, Tyrese Halliburton, and then Rick Carlisle. And I think that is the point of where I'm going is if the Thunder lose, and there's all due respect to the Thunder coaching staff, I think it will be because they got outcoached. Rick Carlisle is an incredibly good coach. I've talked to Mike a lot about the fact that like Thibodeau is fine, but I do think he absolutely got outclassed and outcoached by Carlisle. He is the only coach that you would put on a badass graphic behind you. Yeah. Like I feel like coaching could have a huge impact on this series.
And Adam, he's done it before. I mean, the Mavs weren't supposed to win that finals, against the Heat. So yeah.
We'll see. I put my bets in, of course, for the Pacers. All kinds of a series. I parlayed my money that I won from the Cavs series. Then I parlayed that into the New York Knicks series. And now I have parlayed it into the Oklahoma City. This might be where my money ends. But but I just think the Pacers haven't lost 2 games in a row since March. Since early March. They haven't lost 2 games in a row. So it's going to be, if they can't win game 2, I think they're done. But I think they have a chance. And
does that mean they're going to lose game one? Is that kind of your prediction?
I mean, I don't know. It's going to be so hard to win game one in Oklahoma City.
I actually, and I'm not trying to be, I am jinxing it. So that's why I'm talking like this.
But so you're reverse jinxing it. Yeah, you're good.
I'm agreeing with Tim. I think there's a chance we lose game one because of all of the rest that we've had. Like your guy,
Rusty.
Yeah, we haven't played a game in a while. That happened with Grizzlies, Nuggets. So I could see them stealing game one.
Okay.
Is my argument. I mean, to defend my guys and my team, Halliburton hasn't played well against the Thunder. We pick him up really, really good. And then also those season games that we played against you guys, we didn't have Chet. But the Pacers are kind of like in a groove and they're kind of hitting a wave right now. And I do think that we will be playing a different team this week.
But Steven is right. If you can keep, like, if you've watched the defense, if you can keep Halliburton from getting past the free throw line, he just kind of stalls out.
Yeah.
Like he'll stall out. Like if he can't work the ball inside past the free throw line and then get the ball working around so that they can set their picks and get a man open, he kind of like gets confused and frustrated, and then they have to ISO, and they don't really play much ISO unless it goes to Pascal Siakam. You know, then he's really the only one on the team that'll go one-on-one with a defender and back him down.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. Now, we've talked a lot about the on-court matchup, but I think something where these two teams are very evenly matched off the court is that Tyrese Halliburton and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander both wear probably top two for like wackiest pregame fits before. I think SGA has like a 50% hit rate where sometimes it looks good, and I think Tyrese Halliburton looks bad 100% of the time.
Tyrese is a damn nerd. It bothered. I'm glad he's on my team, but if he wasn't, I would not like
You saw that Steve
Urkel
Urkel comparison video, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Halliburton with the black suit and glasses, motherfucker looked like he's about to give me the red pill.
But he also wears these suits. He does this a lot where it's like baggy shorts, suits, and then these like the high nerdy socks. But regardless, I would love for each of you to discuss just like, do you like these pregame fits of your star players? Is it one of those things that kind of like Tim was saying where it's like, if this guy wasn't on my team, I would think it's stupid? Because SGA sometimes he's got like the full like brown leather outfit with the leather tie and stuff. He wears like
he's very Lil Nas
get,
X coded.
You get weird ones. I think SGA half the time it's like that's incredible, and half the time it's like what's going on, and then Tyrese it's like, oh, those are normal clothes, or it's like, did he just murder Big Bird and put it onto a blazer? Like you get some weird ones.
I'm so numb to this because I used to have Westbrook on my team dressed like
that's so true.
Like a fruit roll up every fucking week, so I don't even notice what he wears, dude. I'm numb. Yeah.
I mean, it's not as bad as Kuzma. Neither of them are Kuzma,
which is the big pink sweater.
The big sweater. Yeah.
I mean,
Adam and I had this debate recently.
I said Kuzma was a worse dresser, and you said
I got really heated about it.
Yeah.
I sent like receipts with like photographic evidence of why I think Halliburton is actually a worse dresser than Kuzma. Because Kuzma has like the big notable ones, like the sleeves too long pink sweater. But like as an overall person, I think he does a little bit better. Halliburton, it's just like, I don't know what's going on. It's the weird oversized suits that have like 3 different materials on them that just, I can't fathom how he looks in the mirror and is like, yes, correct.
I think the problem with this SGA all leather fit is that he lost the meat off earlier in the year against Donovan Mitchell. And I think if he would have won the meat off, he could have
meat off?
What's the meat off?
Well, you know, they both are in the Skims
in the
commercials.
Skims commercial.
And Donovan Mitchell had way more meat than SGA. So he lost the meat off.
Wow.
And I think he got MVP because
when you said meat off, I had so many questions about what that meant, and now I wish I hadn't asked.
Tommy, a friend of the show, Tommy McNamara, was explaining it to me, and Micah goes, let me look at the pictures. And I go, Micah, you don't need to look at the pictures. Micah, my beautiful girlfriend, of course.
Yes.
Who's obsessed with people's meat.
You know what? Let's agree that both SGA and Donovan Mitchell outshined Justin Timberlake when he got stuck in that harness. I think that's the important thing to remember here. But now, speaking of celebrities, Give me your roster of like who you expect to see courtside at these games, because the narrative is like, oh, these are like, cities that nobody cares about, and this is a bad finals. I reject that, because I think if you're a basketball fan, this is a great finals.
Now it is. I saw a fun fact. This is, I think, only the second time that both finals teams are from the state capital.
That's very obscure.
Glitz and glamour, baby.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But so, Tim, Indiana-wise, who do you expect to see courtside? I assume the asshole Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee will be there.
Yeah.
No, well, Pat McAfee has a suite, I think. But
okay.
Pat McAfee, a man I have partied with before. No bigs.
Okay.
Did he stand the whole time at the party too? Does he sit down ever?
No, he was standing the entire time. I don't know if he really liked me, but we did have a nice time.
He likes you about as much as he likes sleeves.
So Mike Epps will be there for sure.
Okay.
We got Mike
Comedian
Epps.
Mike Epps,
My dad, there's a dude. So my dad is a member of the Knights of Columbus.
Sure.
And there's a guy that goes to the Knights of Columbus. He's from a rich family, and he sits about 3 rows up, and he paints his face one side blue, one side yellow. He will be there.
Okay, your third biggest celebrity is just a guy your dad knows?
Yeah, and then sexually harasses the women that work at the Knights of
Columbus.
Oh
my God.
Nice. Hey, guys, clip this.
So he'll be there. My dad doesn't like him, but he knows him.
There have to be more celebrities from Indiana, right? Am I wrong?
Well, John Mellencamp, I don't know if he's going to go back after he said that there was so much. He didn't like that Pat McAfee did that speech and that everybody booed Ben Stiller and Timothy Chalamet. He said it was bad Hoosier hospitality, and that's not the way you're supposed to act. Said it was bad sportsmanship.
Interesting.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Triple H was there too, right? Wasn't he at a game?
Triple H was there. Reggie Wayne, I think, will be at all the games. I bet we see an Anthony Richardson possibly.
Caitlin Clark will
these
be
are members
there
of the
for
Indianapolis
sure.
Colts. Yeah,
Caitlin Clark for
so.
sure. I bet a bunch of the Fever come out for that. Aaliyah Boston will be there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steven,
they'll
are
have a
there
bunch of girls.
Oklahoma-based celebrities who you expect to see at the games?
I'm excited.
Flaming Lips guy, right?
Yeah, the Flaming Lips guy. Yeah, that's how he will be mentioned on the. Yeah.
Flaming Lips guy. Tim's seen him 8 times.
Wow, good job, Tim.
Thanks. That'll be under Flaming Lips guy.
I'm excited to see Dr. Phil decked out like Spike Lee.
Is he from Oklahoma?
I guess so. I'm actually on Wikipedia right now because I don't know.
Bill Hader's from Tulsa. I don't know if he goes to the games.
Yeah,
He doesn't strike me as a big sports guy.
I bet
I
it's
don't think
Adam
so.
Ray.
I don't think Bob Dylan will be there. Well, but Adam Ray's a Sonics fan, so he probably hates the Thunder.
Yeah.
But he'll probably show up as Dr. Phil.
Oh, that could be kind of a fun meta sort of. Yeah, it's interesting because you don't expect. I mean, I assume there will just be celebrities who are like, well, it's the NBA Finals, so I'll just go to a game.
Here's
but
a
maybe
big
not.
one, guys. The 90s hip hop band Color Me Bad.
Oh, wow.
And
Maybe they'll do a halftime show.
Maybe. Yeah.
That would be
like
good.
it.
Yeah, I think it'll be. I don't know how star-studded it'll be, but I for sure there'll be at least a Mike Epps. I think you're gonna see a lot of Mike Epps.
Yeah,
Bro, one time I saw Chris Tucker there
that's
at
pretty
the-
cool.
at
And-
a Tennessee game.
Oh wow!
That's very unexpected.
So this is a conversation right now about like the super fans, or at least celebrity super fans. But I'm intrigued by what your read on like general fandom in terms of like people from these cities, because I've had a weird situation where people that I have not talked to for like 10 plus years texting me bragging that the Pacers beat the Knicks. Like this guy who was like the faculty RA from college who I've not spoken with in 11 years
Talking
texted
shit.
me, "Go Pacers," after the series was over. And
That's
I've had like
rude.
2 other, and I was like, "Hi Jay, good to hear from you too. Didn't you get kicked out because you cheated on your wife?" But anyway, it's completely unconfirmed. Completely unconfirmed. Let me say it's completely unconfirmed. It's just all of our speculation.
I tell you what, I
Us and all
think there's
the
a spot for
college
him at
sophomores.
the Indianapolis Knights of Columbus.
But
That guy does not have a wife.
I've also had like a couple other people who I didn't think were big fans text me. So like, is it an Indiana thing where it's just like, maybe, you know, people don't necessarily follow the Pacers day to day, but now it's like, oh my gosh, we're in the finals, so the whole state is on board.
Well, it is a
that
basketball
thing
state,
in
that's for
Oklahoma?
damn sure.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, what is the vibe of like Oklahoma, the state, Oklahoma City, the city, Indiana, the state, Indianapolis, the city? What's the vibes?
Indiana's a huge, it's bad. Like all of my regular friends in Indiana may not have watched as many games as I did this year, but they keep up with it. They know, like, I was at my buddy's wedding over the summer, and my one friend and I were talking about Andrew Nemhard and Benedict Mathurin, and then like 4 other people started talking about it. So they all know. But then there are some guys I know who you're talking about. Like I was watching the game with a guy who's an Indianapolis guy. It's like, I'm a big Pacers fan. And then he's like, why is this guy doing this? And I'm like, it's what he's been doing all season.
Right.
And it's one of those things where it's like, don't be mad. You got to keep positive vibes up so that your team will win, because it comes down to me and me alone.
Yes.
Keeping the vibes up for the team to win.
I've always felt the whole thing about, like, you know, people who aren't real fans or only watching the playoffs, like, it doesn't affect me. And the same, like, if the Pacers win, it will mean way more to you than it would ever mean to that guy. So, like, who cares? You know what I mean?
Right. And everybody's going to be happy anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You know, it's like, but it's those times when you're like, don't call them out. You just, because I like to call people out because I'm kind of a asshole.
Sure.
He ain't lying.
Well, it's annoying when people act like they're an expert, and then it's incredibly obvious that they don't know what they're talking about. But so Tom Takar, who we've had on the show before, and he's a big Pacers fan, I actually enjoyed his take during the Knicks-Pacers series, which was like, oh, everyone keeps saying the Knicks should win because it's a better city. But he's like, that's exactly why they shouldn't win. Like, we need this as Indianapolis people.
He also, after the Pacers dropped game 3, it's like mental illness. Sent me like, it's like this many texts. It's like this many texts, and then me going, yeah, man. And
just having a meltdown.
I'm like, Tom, yeah, he had like a full breakdown. I was like, Tom, remember, it's hard to beat a good team 3 times.
Especially when you already stole one of the first 2 games from them.
Yeah, you just have to remind yourself that, you know? But I am interested about Oklahoma. Is it big? Because football,
they feel pretty. It seems pretty rabid because I mean they don't have that many professional teams there. So
they only have
that's
one.
true.
It's literally the
that's
only
true.
thing we have. I went to game 1 against the Memphis Grizzlies this summer.
Nice.
And because I'm not from Oklahoma City, but I live an hour away from it. And bro, these are the nicest country bumpkins you'll ever meet in your life. They were so polite to Grizzlies fans. They were like, thanks for coming, y'all. Hope y'all have a good time. Like all the shit like that. It was like amazing. It was like everybody, it's so small. It seemed like everybody there knew each other. The fucking vibes are so good over there, you know?
I can see that. Yeah.
So as I agree with Tom, like we deserve this more. I feel that way about us too. It's like
I enjoyed Tom's take. This game will be broadcast exclusively on gas station TVs.
Yeah. I mean,
it's the Loves versus
Loves. The fact that our thing is Loves is fucking insane.
Oh yeah, I guess you don't have it on that jersey, but isn't it on their new jerseys?
But the Clippers have Bumble. We have a fucking gas station.
What is the Pacers?
And then the Pacers have a QR code, which I think should be not allowed.
That's correct.
I don't know what the QR code goes to, but I hate that the Pacers jersey sponsor is a QR code. It makes me just really sad.
I'm a big fan of Love's gas stations. Pilot and Love's are the 2 that I
Is that like the Buc-ee's of Oklahoma? Is that kind of that vibe?
It's like a Pilot. It's like exactly like a Pilot.
Okay. Fair enough.
It just has a bunch of stuff.
That's fair. And I like, the logo's fun too. All right. Now we're getting down to the end here. So we got to get to some actual predictions. Tim, I'm going to start with you. Give me your prediction of the series. How many games does it go? I'm going to assume you'll pick the Pacers, but who knows?
I'm picking the Pacers. I bet on the Pacers to win in 6 because of the odds of it. And I wanted the maximum payout for the most realistic, underdog, the most realistic long shot. I wanted.
Does that mean they have to win in exactly 6 for you to win?
They have to win 4 games. They have to, 4 and 2. So it has to be an exactly.
So if they win in 5 or they win in 7, you don't get paid out. They specifically okay.
Oh my gosh.
You really are trying
okay.
to lose that money.
But I think Oklahoma City is a better team. The Pacers and Oklahoma City. I think Oklahoma City only has one more win than the Pacers since the All-Star break, possibly, but they've both been on an incredible roll. The Pacers have some kind of weird angels in the outfield style luck on their side where the ball flies and hangs in the air and
the Tyrese buzzer beater thing was absurd. Like it went off the front of the rim and went out of frame.
Not since the Kawhi shot against the Sixers has there been such an absurd final second shot.
They've been doing a really good job, and this is what good teams do. They've been doing a really good job of closing out quarters, halves, and games. So if they can continue to do that, and if they can figure out a way to work the ball into the paint and get it moving against Oklahoma City's incredible defense, I think they have a shot to win. But I would like to see, if the Pacers win, I think they win in 6, because I think if it goes 7, they're going to lose.
And Steven, what do you have? Thunder in how many games?
I have Thunder in 5.
Ooh.
That is also what I'm thinking.
And mainly because, with the exception of that game in Denver, we have played pretty incredible at home. Mm-hmm. I see the Pacers winning game 3 and then us stealing game 4 and then having to come back. It's going to be hard. You think about Halliburton is going to have to deal with Lou Dort, Cason Wallace, Alex Caruso. You have all of these players that are switchable on defense, all that. They're young, they're hungry, we're deep, we have centers, we have all these things. And I also think J-Dub and Chet are now kind of feeling a bit more confident in feeling themselves after that Minnesota series. And as good as Nembhard is on defense, and respectfully, I think Jaden McDaniels is a better defender, and they have to deal with, bigger challenges on their side. And so that's where it's going. I'm actually going to Oklahoma next week to watch the games.
In person?
Yeah.
Fun.
That's how confident I feel that either I have to be home with my family to celebrate or be their therapist.
Are you planning to go to any of the games? Or just go?
No, because we already went to one, and also just the tickets are actually getting pretty expensive, even for Oklahoma.
Hey man, you got to spend that SNL money on something. It's gonna be a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, instead of rent in New York.
Yeah, dude, the tickets in Oklahoma, they're so expensive. They're like $50 a ticket. It's
I mean, that's like 2 months of rent in Oklahoma, so that's not nothing.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Tim, if the Pacers win, who is your series MVP? Is it Hallie? Is it someone else?
If the Pacers win, I think it just depends on how well he plays, but I think they'd have to give it to, if the Pacers win, it's going to be because of Halliburton, so I think they'd have to give it to him, especially since they gave Pascal the MVP in the Eastern
and Halliburton
Finals.
took the 3 steps forward to get it before. Oh.
Listen, let the man. Here's the thing: when you're a professional athlete, you always think that it's your time to win something.
Right.
That's
if
true.
that was
Gotta
me,
have the
I'd have been
confidence.
holding the thing to hand to Pascal.
Steven, who's your series MVP? SGA?
1 sec. Oh my God. We have a Shams bomb.
What do we got?
You ready for this?
Yep.
Tom Thibodeau fired.
No way.
Is that
yes.
true?
I mean, oh, wow. Yep, it's confirmed 30 seconds ago.
Wow. Yep. This is also notable because we have a running thing that we record right before news breaks, and it's like a curse where we've always just recorded and then something happens. So this is a big deal. We will discuss this a lot more in the other.
Well, congrats, Mike.
Look,
wow.
I think it's for the best. It is a completely different type of situation, but I think that it is the closest comparison is the Mark Jackson Warriors, where it's he got them there, but you need the next step of coach. I don't know who we're replacing him with, but I think this is the right move. Wow. I'm very surprised that we did this. I'm very happy that we did this. I love Thibs, but I don't think it was going to happen with him.
Right.
I thought Steve had a bit. I thought you were about to do a
Yeah.
bit.
I was going to rip my pants.
You looked at your phone as if Shams texted you directly.
I thought that you were saying this just in. They already announced the MVP. That's crazy.
Wow.
Well, I assume that Shea will be the MVP, but we all knew that. I think our second best player will be Alex Caruso.
I mean, look, he's been resting the whole season for this moment. Yeah. Like, he has been load managed all year for this.
Yes.
He is.
Yeah.
It's time to put on the Carushow, baby.
Hey, as a Bulls guy, I loved having Caruso there. So I guess that's actually kind of an answer to my follow-up question, which was like, besides the MVP, give me like your X factor, like this player is going to make the difference in the series. I assume maybe it would be Caruso for you.
Yeah.
Tim, who do you have as kind of like a bench guy or role player who could make a huge difference in the series?
I think there's two guys for the Pacers, depending on how many minutes Rick gives them. I think Mathurin can make a big impact, but Mathurin likes to play Benedict Mathurin basketball where he scores. He scored 20 points in 12 minutes. He likes to go to the basket, but I think if he can get to the basket and get free throws and get people in foul trouble, that could be a big help. I think the biggest one is going to be TJ McConnell. If he can stay under control and not give up the ball in dumb ways against the Oklahoma City defense, they can have a really good shot. You know, because he threw away some balls against the Knicks defense where I was like, TJ, God! And Micah was like, Tim, I'm trying to watch the practice.
I feel like every team has some version of that guy, like a McConnell or Peyton Pritchard or someone who's like, you look at them and you're like, how is this person in the NBA? Well, I mean, partially it's like white and seemingly unathletic, but they get it done. So it's going to be an interesting one. You know, I have to say, based on Steven, how much you told me you hate Tim, this was not as contentious as I feared it might be. May the best team win. I hope it goes 7 because I'm a basketball fan. But thank you both for joining. Anything you want to plug before we get out of here? Tim, where can people find you? You've got a very memorable Instagram handle, so go ahead and share it with
follow me on Instagram at hot_comic69. I have a new cracked. I have a new crack. Yeah, I have a new crack set out for Crack Comedy Club on YouTube. I was a few vodka sodas in for that one, so if you'd like to watch that, it's pretty fun. And then my podcast, of course, with my beautiful girlfriend Micah Fox, where she calls me fat and stupid for an hour every week. It's called the Great Hang Podcast, so you can check that out at Great Hang Podcast on YouTube and anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Steven?
I was actually here to just plug Tim's stuff. So, but he took the words out of my mouth.
You can follow Steven at HotterComic69.
Yeah, damn it.
But actually, where should people follow you and check out your stuff or whatever you're working on these days?
Just follow me on Instagram. I have a fake podcast called Mind the Castillo. You can find all the clips on SteezisCastillo.com and also Steezus Christ on Twitter. And a few years ago, I went viral for getting mad that Russell Westbrook got traded, and I ripped off my pants, and Barstool shared it. So we'll see how this series goes. Maybe.
Best of luck to you. Best of luck. Yeah. Well, thank you both for joining. Enjoy the finals. Enjoy the ride. And that's it.
Thanks, gang.
All right. Sure. And once again, Pearl Jam.
Oh my gosh. Thanks for listening to this episode of Horror Sources, hosted by Adam Amawala and Mike Schubert. Our editors, Kensei Saramaki. The music is by Bettina Kabamanas. The art's by Alison Wakeman. The website's by Kelly Schubert. And the social media is by both of the Horse Boys.
Thank you to our producer-level patrons, Polly Burge, Salvatore Testa, Siobhan Ellsbury, Don't Go Chasing Taco Falls, Bang, Bang, Roast Beef Debris, Denver Steam Nuggets, Anna Reed, Steph Curry for Par 3. Very nice, very nice. Chase Underulo, Naked Rachel, Sidney Crosby is a Vampire, Chelsea's Cousin, Ginger Spurs Boy, Balls to the Walls, Mats Furli, and Utah Jash. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Horse Hoops and on Twitter at Horse_Hoops because
Horse Hoops is Tyrese Halliburton's stylist, and we found out we had to get him shut down. They got to be focusing on fashion because they're not doing a good job.
The owner of Horse Suits, Horse Hoops. You can go to our website, horsehoops.com, for links to some of the stuff we talked about today. I don't even know what links there are going to be, but we'll find some and we'll post them there.
Heck yeah, baby. And if you want to support the Horse Boys, you could go to patreon.com/horsehoops. You'll get extra stuff. We'll be doing our thing where we talk about finals games and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I believe we're going to try to do at least like a short 10-minute kind of recap of, if not every game, most of them. So now's a good time to join the Patreon.
Yes, and you can also support us by going to horsehoops.com/merch, where you can get physical merch like Sub Nerds is Basketball shirts, or digital merch like Sub Nerds is Basketball wallpapers and ringtones and all this other stuff. But we're going to conclude this episode by putting our hands in the middle and saying something on the count of 3. We have no Knicks or Bulls to cheer on any longer, so we don't have to try to put good vibes out there.
Well, as a basketball fan, all I want is a 7-game series, so let's say somebody in 7.
Sounds good to me.
I don't care.
Somebody in 7 on... Should we go to 7?
Sure, yeah, why not?
All right, we'll say somebody in 7 on 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Somebody in 7. May the team win. May a team win.
Look, I'd love it if neither of them did.
Sure. But
all right,
that is it.